Welcome, everybody, to another episode of FYC Film Review. I'm your host, Gagne, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, Naldo.
What's going on, everybody? What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Welcome, sir, to
Yeah,
another fun go-around of a classic comedy.
this was fun. This was a fun pick, man. This
Have
was
you? It's been a while since you've watched this?
It has been a long
Okay.
time since
Okay.
I've seen this.
Same.
It's been a while. It's been a while, but I'm so glad we picked it, man. I had a blast with this movie.
All right. So, obviously, Jim Carrey. What movie are we doing here?
All right, so we're kind of shying away from the 80s right now. We're in the 2000s, so this is straight up 2000, and this was Jim Carrey starring in Me, Myself, and Irene. This is another Farrelly Brothers movie, and his first one was Dumb and Dumber, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Dumb and
So
Dumber.
second go around with them.
Second go around, and this one isn't a rated R movie, so this isn't a PG-13. This is a rated R, a little
Heavy
bit
R.
more risque. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of jokes that aren't meant for kids. But the Farrelly Brothers do it so well. I am a fan of the early stuff from the Farrelly Brothers. So let's get into it. Have you seen this before? Clearly, right?
Yes, I feel like this, and maybe my memory is slipping, but I feel like this was one we might have seen together in theaters. So
Possibly.
So
Yeah.
for those that don't know, we were roommates at one time. So
Yeah.
we saw a lot of movies together.
We
This
did.
might have been one of them. I agree with you. Farrelly Brothers, early Farrelly Brothers, good stuff. Like
Yeah.
shocking comedy that you just didn't see in movies. And so they went for it on R, and it worked a lot.
Yeah.
Was something about Mary R?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was. With
Probably.
some of the stuff that I'm thinking about in that movie, it had to be
Like
R.
the hair gel, right?
Yeah, the hair gel.
Yeah, I can't
absolutely.
pick.
Yeah. The sunbather on the
Yeah,
the sunbathing neighbor. Yeah, I think it was definitely R.
definitely. But Jim Carrey in this, man, I am a fan of Jim Carrey. This for me is so much better than The Mask, even though he plays a split personality in The Mask as well. This one is done. It's done so well, and this shows how talented this guy is. Every time he's on screen, he turns to Hank. Every time he turns to Hank, it's just the funniest thing ever. I loved it from beginning to the end. There's some weird parts in there that's got its flaws, but man, I had a great time with it. Starting off when he's a younger Charlie Bailey or whatever his name is.
Or the Bailey
Eh,
Gates.
Bailey Gates,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's getting married, and you get the limo driver, Shantae, I think
Yes.
that's his name.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! And he's fighting with them, and he busts out his nunchucks, and Jim
Ugh.
Carrey's slapping him in the face. Dude, I was dying.
Yeah, it's it definitely just goes straight to the comedy and hits you pretty hard with his sons, who end up being black, and he ends up raising them. It's a wild premise that somehow works.
It's sweet. It's so sweet because they're these three guys who we know they're not his, right? But he ends up raising them because the wife and Shantae, the limo driver, end up just straight up leaving them, right?
Yeah.
And Charlie raises them as his own, and they have a really sweet relationship. It's really adorable, and they have this just vulgar mouth on them because of all the late shows that he let them watch with Richard Pryor and Chris Rock. But it's so sweet. I loved it, man. I think it's really sweet the way he cares about them.
Yes, and I would say that I remember a lot about this movie, but the three brothers have some of my favorite moments. I mean, they're just fantastic in this. Anthony Anderson, I don't know the other two actors' names. I'm not sure if I've seen them in anything else, but just love what they bring to it. It's so fun. And actually, it does come off very sweet. The Farrelly Brothers do that well. They do like mixing sweet with vulgar comedy just really well. It makes you kind of smile.
You hit the nail on the head, man. That's exactly what I was going to say. The Farrelly Brothers have a way of doing something that's so off the wall and so crude, but they bring it back with heart, and it captures you. And I loved it. I love that about that, because a lot of movies, they could be crude and funny, but they don't bring it back with the heart. And the Farrelly Brothers did it so well. The way they interact with each other, the music that the Farrelly Brothers picked are just spot on for their movies. It's so memorable. So super talented guys.
They are. First note I put of this was, I think it starts a little slow. Like and then when Hank shows up, the movie really like cranks into a different gear. It's
Yeah.
very sweet and funny in the beginning, and then you go on this road trip and Hank shows up and it's
Oh, hell
wild.
breaks loose.
It's,
Yeah.
I mean, the Hank scenes he plays, it's like this movie was written for Jim Carrey. Again, like same
Yep.
thing, it's just you need an actor
Yes.
who can
Yeah.
just totally change his persona,
Yeah.
and you believe it. And
Yeah.
oh my god, the Hank stuff, just his lines, his all this stuff just gets me so much. Hank is probably my second favorite part of this movie besides the
Okay.
brothers.
Yeah. The when all the transformations from Charlie to Hank, his facial expressions, his mannerisms,
Yes.
it's so I don't know how to put it, man. It's very cartoonish in a way that only Jim Carrey could do it without any special effects. It's just him and it just being Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And it's so fun to watch. And I think you need the beginning of the movie though, because you need to see how what Charlie has become, how everybody takes advantage of him, and how he holds it all in until they get to that supermarket scene
Sure.
where he just loses it and the Vagisil comes in and and oh, we get
Too
introduced to
much
Hank.
cheddar on the taco. Was that the?
Woo,
Oh,
woo,
it's
woo.
and you're just it's unexpected. You're right. There's so much sweet in the beginning, and
Yeah,
it hits you, and all of a sudden when Hank comes, and you're like, oh my god, like, but
yeah.
it makes sense because dude's been run over a lot. I had a grown moment. The let's not dismiss Renee Zellweger, who plays
Yes.
Charlie's girlfriend,
Love
Charlie's
interest
love interest. Yeah, I guess he's escorting her across the country or to another state for
to another state. Yeah.
some
To New
reason. She's
York.
on the run from the mob, so or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. And dirty cops.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but her name, Irene P.
Irene P.
Waters.
Waters. Yeah.
P. Waters, like very
Yeah.
lowbrow. I was like, okay, yeah,
Okay.
just
Whatever.
one of those things where I was like, come on,
Come on. It's all
you're
right.
better than that.
No. It works. It works. Great cast. I'm all for Renee Zellweger. I loved it. I loved every minute.
She's
of
good
it.
in this. Yeah. I mean, she's a good actress. So, I mean, I liked it. I don't think their chemistry is as good as I thought it was. Like she almost is like overdone by how much Hank is so outlandish. So I feel like, I don't know, she didn't have a lot to do other than react to Hank in this movie.
Well, yeah, she's caught in the middle between both of them.
Right. Yeah.
So one of the funniest things I saw was the cow scene when they come over across the cow and and they think they're trying to put it out of its misery and he's choking it and then Irene's kicking it and he's trying to kill it. Oh my gosh, dude.
That's a good scene.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
Yeah.
I haven't laughed this hard in a movie in a while, man. It was I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Wrestling the cow with the fingers in the nose. It's it's definitely out there. All right. So let's get some fun facts.
Okay, fun facts. Let's do it. I'll let you go first this time. Ready? Fun facts?
Fun fact number one, in an interview with the Farrelly Brothers, they think this is actually their worst movie.
What? Really?
Yeah, really.
Why?
Because it's not as good as some of their other ones.
Okay. All right. I think it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
This movie. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I would say it's not my favorite of theirs, but yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. It's a good fun fact.
Yeah.
Well, you're hard on yourself,
so
Farrelly Brothers.
Yeah, pretty hard on themselves.
All right. See, where the fun fact? Let's see. What do I got? Okay. I read somewhere that Jack Black was supposed to be actually Charlie Bailey Gates and / Hank, which is weird because he also did another Farrelly Brothers movie with Shallow Hal.
Oh yeah.
So he turned this role down to do Shallow Hal, which Shallow Hal is fantastic, by the way.
Never saw it.
I love Shallow.
Had an issue with the premise, but yeah, never watched it. But okay. I'll give it a try on your recommendation.
Yeah, do it. All right, go. You're
you canceled mine out, man. I had the same thing. So if you've got a second, you're gonna win this battle for the first time.
I love it. Okay. My last one is Seabass from Dumb and Dumber is actually in this movie. Towards the end of the movie, Charlie says, "See you later, Seabass." Now, if you guys have ever seen Dumb and Dumber, there's a guy named Seabass in it, and he's about to kick what's his name? Lloyd Christmas, who's Jim Carrey's character's ass. And it's just funny that they brought him back into this movie. So it's the same character, and his name is Seabass. So just a little fun fact in there.
Yeah,
Easter egg.
The Farrellys, that's good. Yeah, and that brings up a good point because the Farrellys do like to cast people from other films and locals. Like they're big on filming in Rhode Island. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's their home state.
I don't know.
But yeah, they tend to do that a lot, and it's fun to see that stuff pop up. It's almost like, you know, you've got a Farrelly Brothers universe.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be nice to kind of do like a multiverse for Fairly Brother movies.
Jim Carrey with Ben Stiller, and yeah, oh, you're onto something.
Yeah, and Whitey.
Nostalgia reigns supreme right now with Whitey as well.
Let's bring Milky in. He was funny.
So good.
I liked him.
Is good. Why didn't he was like never in anything else ever after this? It was like, what happened? He was good in this. I liked him a lot.
The scene where he goes into the restaurant, he meets Milky, or what's his name? I forget what his name is.
His actual name? I don't know. I just remember
in the movie.
Whitey.
He has a name in the movie.
He does have a name in the movie.
Melvin? He looks like a Melvin.
We'll have to edit this and look.
Okay. Well, anyways, the scene where they're in the restaurant and they meet him, and it's Hank in the restaurant, and he goes, "Whoa, it's a giant Q-tip." He just starts calling them names, dude. I was just laughing and crying. I felt bad for the guy. So
yeah, it's uncomfortable in a way that, like, again, I think only the Farrelly Brothers, or maybe this time of comedy, like, could get away with. Like, it just, he berates him and you can't stop laughing, and he just takes it, and then to make matters worse, he gets reprimanded, calls him back, and like says, "Hey, did you get offended when I called you this?" and says it again. And he's like, "Well, yeah, it bothered me." Like, oh.
And that's where you think that Hank is actually churning, but he's not.
No, never.
He's not. The scene where it's basically Jim Carrey, it's Charlie versus Hank. Dude, that's just talent right there, where he's fighting himself. Basically, it's one of those, you know, Fight Club moments where he's fighting himself. I thought it was genius, and I can't see anybody pulling that off besides Jim Carrey.
I mean, he's had practice, and he did it better in Liar Liar.
Oh, that's a good one too.
I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind?
Yeah.
It's a testament to his comedy. I mean, while The Mask wasn't great, we didn't love it. You know, this is up there for me for his comedies, because he just carries this movie, and without all the back and forth that he's doing, playing two characters, and the outlandish faces he can make and voices he can do, you don't get this movie. It's a completely different movie. You brought up the music thing, and I thought that was funny because after Charlie talks about his arse being sore from the fun that Hank had with Renee Zellweger the night before, you get Third Eye Blind's Deep Inside of You. And it was just good timing. If you know the song. If not, it's a subtle scene where, like, he's reflecting on things and you're like, oh my God, that's genius.
It's genius, but it works also in a sweet moment, because that song, I mean, we grew up in the 90s, and Third Eye Blind, I mean, as the kids say, was everything in the 90s. So it was such a great moment. The moment I heard Deep Inside of You by Third Eye Blind, I was like, oh, so good. Keep going.
So fun.
But it also plays into the fact that he had a dildo.
He was playing with a very large dildo.
So anyways, let's rate it. You want to rate it?
Yeah, let's rate it.
Right. What are we going with?
We got to go with Whitey's.
Whitey's?
Yeah. It makes me laugh. I'm sorry to the albino community that I shouldn't be laughing at that, but so funny.
Okay, so 1 to 5. 1 Whitey being really bad, 5 Whiteys being just wonderful. I'm gonna let you go first. I want to see what your rating is on this.
Okay, so in talking about it and having a little bit more fun with it, I think that when I was watching it, I was expecting a little, I guess, I don't know. I was expecting to be really laughing a lot harder than
me.
I did, really. Yeah, than you. So like, I think it's a little slow at some points. I don't love the whole entirety of the movie, but because of Jim Carrey, it's good. I'm moving this from my initial 2 to like a 2.5 Whiteys, because I don't love the entire movie. I love Jim Carrey in this. I love the brothers in some scenes, but like, it just didn't really. I don't love it. It's not my favorite Farrelly.
Okay, 2.5. Ouch.
Yeah.
All right.
That's up. I had 2. I had initially written 2. So
okay, fine. I'll take the half. That's cool.
You worked a half a point out of me.
Great. I did that. All right. I am not in your boat this time. I love this movie. I forgot how good it was. Even with the R rating, the jokes just landed well, and those moments that the Farrelly Brothers bring that have heart in it come back as well. I found myself laughing and being like, oh, that's sweet. And when a movie can do that to me, it's fantastic. So I'm gonna go with four whiteys for me on this one. This one is so good that I didn't even rent it. I bought it on Amazon. So
wow.
4 whiteys for me. I highly recommend it. It's not for kids. It's a rated R Farrelly Brothers movie, but it'll have you laughing. It'll keep you in stitches.
If you've never seen this before, the comedy will hit like it hits for the first time, where like that's the thing, is I think because I knew a lot of the gags and knew a lot of the jokes and knew it was coming, not as unexpected, and just not as funny this time around, but first time around, good stuff. Go watch it.
Yeah, the nose. Remember when he was punching the nose and it was so like it's wheezing? It was hilarious. It lasted for like 10 minutes. All right, I think we're done with
just like that gag. Our episode has gone too long. We're gonna cut this, and we're done.
Let's cut it.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you let us know what you think of Me, Myself, and Irene once you watch it, or if you have watched it, and tell me how wrong I am in giving it such a low rating.
Yeah,
Ronaldo's going to skate by with no criticism with his 4. So good work. Safe bet, sir. As always, I've been your host, Gagne. With me, my partner, Naldo.
Have a good one, everybody. Go watch this movie. You'll laugh. One of Naldo's picks. Go watch it. It's fantastic.
He guarantees.
I guarantee it. See you guys
later.